What's going on, everybody? Chuck here, and I hope that you are having a fantastic day today. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel. I know because of YouTube's algorithms, if you've watched enough of my videos or videos similar to mine, I may show up as a recommended watch on the home screen, but subscribing to the content creators' channels does mean a lot, so please consider doing that if you haven't done so already. Wonderful. Anyway, this video is not meant for those of you who have been doing DIY lawn care for a while. This video is meant for those who are just starting out. This fall will be my third fall overseed, so I'm still relatively new to this, still figuring stuff out and learning. But this video is about the importance of watering and how I set up my DIY irrigation system. It is not in-ground. It does involve having sprinklers and hoses and timers, but I have found that it works really, really well for my lawn type and how my lawn is sort of laid out. Watering is probably the second most important thing you could do for your lawn, mowing being number one, because you can apply whatever you want to the lawn. It doesn't matter how much fertilizer that you use, iron, and all this stuff to make it look real nice and green, because if you are not getting enough water, it's not gonna matter. By the time the summer hits, you get in the heat of the summer, even sometimes in the spring, if you're not getting enough water down, your grass is gonna shrivel up. And yeah, sure, it could go into dormancy, but it could also die if the roots start to dry up. So watering is easily the second most important thing that you could do for your lawn. And let's go in the garage and talk about it in the garage so we can get out of this heat, and I can actually show you some of the tools that I use for my DIY irrigation system. Nice hat, huh? Alan Haynes just actually released these hats for Yard Mastery like on Saturday, and I immediately bought one. They may have done it the day before, but I saw it on Saturday, bought it, not even next day shipping, and I got it on Monday, so really quick turnaround, really sharp hat, really like it. Anyway, so how I set up and I water my lawn. Like I said, this is a DIY above ground irrigation system. It's not like Ryan Knorr's that he's shown in the past, which is where he will have several of the in-ground sprinklers on these kind of spikes, but they're above ground, so he'll run hose to hose. It's not like that because I don't have that many hoses, and to get from my outlets or my spigots, it'd just be so many hoses and so many of these, I worry it'd be too expensive, so I don't have something like that. This one just involves me getting up maybe early that morning that I need to water, or the night before I go to bed, and setting up my hoses to make sure I get I get water that next day. I have 250 feet of hose. 50 of it goes on the strip, and the other 200 go on the main lawn. I have two spigots that I use on my house. I have one that is on the strip, one on the other side, and the one on the strip runs two timers. One of those timers goes and specifically just waters the strip. The other one covers the first half of my lawn, which I have broken up into two zones. And then the outlet, the spigot on the other side of the house, is responsible for 3 zones. Now, what timers do I use? In the past, I've used these various sizes of these Orbit timers. This one is the 4 outlet one. I bought this one specifically last year when I did my fall overseed, because I can run 4 hoses, which gave me plenty of coverage to make sure I'm getting the grass seed nice and wet, not soaking it, but nice and wet at specific times. This one's actually, I don't know if I can take it off. The timer is actually removable, and it's great. And I've used the 4 outlet, or the 4 zone. I've run the 2 zone, and I've run the singular zone before as well. I really like Orbit's timers. I find them easy to use for the most part. However, I don't remember how my wife found out about these, but this is the Orbit B-Hyve system. I actually did a quick little video on this last year, and I had it set up to the spigot on the other side of the house. And it's controlled by an app, which is awesome. It has a weather feature, so if there's rain in the forecast, a significant amount of rain in the forecast, it will actually put your system on a 24-hour rain delay, which is fantastic. Other than that, It's a really good system. Makes everything so much easier because I was on vacation. I was able to monitor how much water I was putting down on the yard from the state of Florida. So, you know, 800 plus miles away, which is awesome. If I knew it was gonna be a really hot day, I could run a quick little sort of syringe session, which is like a short 10-minute burst of water just to get the grass blades wet, maybe a little bit of moisture on the soil level if it was a really hot day, or if maybe the weather feature didn't kick in and I saw it was gonna be like an 80% chance of rain, I could go ahead and just sort of cancel that day's session. So I really like these. As a matter of fact, I bought 2 more of these outlets, which actually go on the spigot. This is the hub that goes inside the house. Recommend it go inside the house because it's not water sealed, it is USB. I just plug it in the kitchen. I bought 2 more of these. I think you can run up to 4 or maybe 6 on a single hub. And so I have 3 of these. 2 of these are on the side of my house. Like I said, one runs the strip, the other one runs the first half or 2 zones on my main yard. And the other one of these, which is on the other side of the house, runs just that side of the house, which is 3 zones. So for what I actually use to water my lawn, on the main lawn, I have 2 of these Orbit gear drives. I used these last year. This part hasn't changed all that much. I really like these. Short of actually getting in-ground sprinkler heads put on these stakes, I find these to be pretty darn close. They are adjustable. There are several settings on here. I set it on the large setting that has teeth which will diffuse the actual flow of the water, but I find the large one works best for my size lawn. For zone 1, for instance, it's at the corner of my flower bed and driveway, and I can throw it on a day with no wind out into the street on the other side of the mailbox. And I run it on a 90 degrees. And then zone 2 runs from the flower bed by the mailbox, down the street, back up the driveway. And that's the key thing. You wanna make sure that you are getting head-to-head coverage because, in particular, with these, it doesn't put a bunch of water out here in the close vicinity of the sprinkler head itself. At the furthest end, you're getting most of it. That's why you want head-to-head because that overlap will help make sure your full lawn or that full zone is getting the 1/2 inch per session. And then on the strip, I have this Melnor. I did a video on this as well last year. Oscillating sprinkler, it's fully adjustable. These tabs here on the top say how wide the throw is gonna be. These tabs here on the front and back, how deep it's gonna go. So this is like obviously gonna be real sort of close to the actual sprinkler itself. That's further away. That's what these control. And this little dial here says how much water is actually gonna come out of it. I have it set to the full throw, and where I have it adjusted, it goes from my driveway to the, my neighbor's lawn. And I will cover the full 1,000 square feet, which I find awesome. The only adjustment I had to do is this comes with a plastic. I think they actually sell a metal stake one on eBay, but at Home Depot or at Lowe's, wherever I got this, they did not. It came with a plastic one, so I just bought a couple metal spikes and replaced it. Now, like I said, you wanna make sure you're getting head-to-head coverage on this. You don't wanna sit there and skimp on any water. You wanna have 1/2 inch of water per zone 3 times a week to get 1.5 inches. Now, how do you know if you're getting 1.5 inches of water or 1/2 inch per watering? Well, that's where the tuna can challenge comes in. I've done a video on the tuna can challenge before. It's not something I've come up with. There's plenty of other videos on it. But essentially, you wanna take some tuna cans, you wanna put them down throughout the lawn, and basically at the end of a watering session, you wanna make sure, because they're 1 inch deep, this one's actually was a blueberry can for Pillsbury English muffins, or not, Pillsbury blueberry muffins. So it's a little bit bigger than 1 inch, but nonetheless, on a normal tuna can, this is about 1 inch tall. You wanna fill it halfway. That way you got 1/2 inch. And you wanna have a few of these because, like I said, at the closest point, I could put 1 tuna can here with a sprinkler. With 1 watering or with 1 zone this close, this is not gonna give me it's not gonna give me 1 inch, or I'm sorry, it's not gonna give me 1/2 inch of water. At the furthest point it will, but that's why when you do head-to-head coverage, so this one may not get it, but going back this way across, it will help me get that full 1/2 inch of coverage. So you should probably get, maybe, depending on the size of your yard, 3 to 4 of these. And you put one real close to sprinkler, one at the furthest point, and then sort of put them in between there, and make sure that throughout that session of water, that session, you're getting that 1/2 inch of water. So it is vitally important to water your lawn, but the key thing is, if it is going to rain, watering your lawn is very, very important. But nothing beats Mother Nature's irrigation system. If it is going to rain, be at peace with it, because nothing beats rainwater. You know, the city water, it's filtered or whatever the case may be, but you're getting all natural rainwater, and if it rains 2 inches, then guess what? You don't have to run your irrigation. You get to save money that particular week, okay? You know, then you just don't have to water the rest of the time. And if it is gonna be really hot, like let's say it rains 2 inches tonight, okay? I may not run my irrigation for the rest of the week, but if I notice the lawn is if I notice the lawn is stressing out a little bit, the one thing I will do is I will run a syringe session, which is basically I will run each zone for maybe 10 minutes just to get the grass blades, a little bit of the misting, a little bit of a cool down the turf just a little bit, but I'm not gonna run a full zone because there's no point in that, because I've already gotten my 1.5 inches of water that particular week because of the rainwater. You don't want to overwater your lawn. It's just as bad as underwatering your lawn, because you want your roots to dive down deep. If the roots are always going to be wet, there's always going to be water at the surface level, the roots aren't going to search, and you're going to have shallow root syndrome, which is just as bad as not watering your lawn. It's an unhealthy turf at that point. So if you're going to get rain, thank the heavens above, thank God you're getting that rain, appreciate it, get a rain gauge, see how much you got. I have a rain gauge in my backyard, so I know, oh man, that session gave me 1/2 inch. I don't need to do my next watering because I already have my 1/2 inch down for that particular session, and then I'll see how the rest of the week goes. So it's not something that you have to sort of, these are the rules. There are no rules. Every house is different, every lawn is different, every slope is different, every soil type is different. Okay, but the rule of thumb is you want to get that 1.5 inches a week, and other than that, just figure out what works for you, because your lawn is a different shape than my lawn. So the way I do things may not work exactly the way they will work for you. Maybe they will, who knows? So the key thing is I have that hashtag hands of soil that I always like to do. That basically means you can get your hands dirty, but it also means to actually get outside, work around, move those hoses around, see what works. If you use the Orbit B-Hyve system, which I'll have a link to those, it is an affiliated link. I'll have a link to these down in the description box below. If you use these, that's perfect. You can just go out in your yard, move a hose, turn the app on a manual session for 2 minutes, see how far the water throws or whatever, and you can actually map it out. Also get a land map. You can print one off on Google. If you're like me and you have a drone, you can do a drone shot of it. There's actual links to tools that I'll put down below where you can actually get your square footage and that kind of scene, and just sort of an over-the-top view of your lawn, of your acreage, and just see, okay, well, this hose goes from here to here. So that means I need to put another zone here because that's the furthest point. So I know at this point with the same sprinkler head, I'm gonna get back to that other sprinkler head. And then you just sort of make sure you're going from head to head to head to make sure you're getting that even coverage. So anyway, that is my lawn, my watering setup for 2020. It's not all that different than last year, other than I am solely using these B-Hyve timers because I absolutely love them. The only issue with these, it's really hard to explain, I'll show it in the app, but you can't just put all of these on one screen. You sort of have to set them up all individually. So I have a strip one, I have a main lawn one, and I have a fenced door one, which is the one that's on the other side of the house. I wish I could put them all on one screen and control them that way, but unfortunately I have to do a drop down and select it. Makes an extra step. It's not the end of the world. It's not gonna say, oh, I hate these because of that. I just wish I could put them all on one screen. Orbit says they're working on a fix for that, but it's been 2 years since they said that, so I'm not holding my breath. But I do recommend these. Melnor also has one, but it kind of looks like this. It's a 4-outlet one, and it kind of sits on a single line versus this offset version. I've not used those before. I've heard good things, but I love these timers that just connect to an app on your phone. It makes things so much easier. Anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you found something useful. Like I said, if you've done this for years and years and years, you're learning nothing other than how I water my lawn. But if this is your first time, if you are getting ready to do your first fall renovation on your yard and you're gonna make your yard look awesome, watering is vitally important. Make sure you're getting that 1.5 inches a week, basically 5 or half an inch 3 times a week, or whatever you wanna do. You could do 1/4 inch, 4, that wouldn't be 4. That'd be 6 times a week, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but still, you wanna get the 1.5 inches every single week. Get some hoses, get some good quality hoses. I use the Never Kink hoses. I find those good. They are at the 5/8 inch diameter. They make the contractor's grade, which is like 3/4 inch. Those are a little bit more expensive, but basically that lets more water come through. Learn what your water pressure is. That's another big thing. My water pressure is okay. I wish it was a little bit stronger, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not gonna mess around with it to try to get it greater. It's fine. I have no issues with it. And yeah, just figure out how you're gonna water. Figure out where your zone to zone, your head-to-head coverage is, and you'll be fine. Or just get a bunch of these. These get the job done. They do really well. Oscillating sprinklers are fantastic. They get great coverage. It takes a little bit longer to get that 1/2 inch of water, and they're a little bit more susceptible to wind. So if there's any wind that particular day, somewhere you're gonna be missing, not getting that 1/2 inch of water because the wind is gonna push it away from that part of the lawn. Like I said, on my strip, this one right here covers 1,000 square feet perfectly. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you all liked it. Please like, subscribe, comment below. What is your watering setup? Do you have an in-ground irrigation setup? Do you do like a sort of a DIY above ground setup similar to what Ryan Knorr did? Or do you throw hoses around? What works best for you? What sort of tools do you use? Have a conversation about it down in the comments below. Help out the new people that are learning this for the very first time. But anyway, I have some really awesome content coming up. I'm gonna be doing some spraying and praying, and here coming up within the next couple weeks, I got a product coming in the mail that's gonna finally get rid of the Bermuda grass and supposedly the quack grass without killing the fescue. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a shot. So hope to see you in that video. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and God bless. I almost forgot to show you. So it's been a couple weeks since I used the Ortho Weed Be Gone, and as you can tell, it didn't do anything. There are some areas, like right here, when a crabgrass blade starts to turn purple, it is starting to die, but there is very little of that in the lawn. Still a lot of crabgrass, and the reason why this area looks like it does is because it did nothing to that broadleaf. Look, here's some more of that, whatever that broadleaf is, it is still fine. It's been mowed a couple times, so that's why it looks a little bit rough. But that I just sprayed with Roundup. Roundup did the trick. It's not for lawn, so it killed the grass there, but that's fine. I'm gonna overseed there anyway, but yeah, that Ortho Weed Be Gone did nothing. But that product that I was just talking about that I bought for the Bermuda and the quack grass, it will hopefully take care of that as well.